Hi, old Rabbit Russ here with a different hat on today, or no hat at all. I thought I'd talk about classical guitar technique, partly because I'm practicing at the moment, I'm learning something or relearning something, and partly because when I went to the Boiler House, I met a nice guy called Mike, and we had an interesting talk about tremolo, the tremolo technique in classical guitar, which is most famous in the piece Recuerdos las Alhambra, but it's basically repeated notes with the right hand, so you get things like that, but faster. And I thought it would be quite interesting to look at the two basic forms, or commonest forms anyway, which is using 4 notes and using 5 notes, looking at why you'd want to use them, and then just playing a little bit of a piece that I'm learning at the moment, just to give you a feel for what it might sound like, particularly in a slower piece, because it's more difficult to play slowly than it is to play quickly. So, here we go. So, looking at the classical version, the thumb is recording, no, the camera's recording, not the thumb. The thumb picks out a bass line. A counter melody is played with these 3 fingers. Well, I'm sorry, I can't carry on with that. Something came up yesterday and it's been bugging me, and I really need to share it with you. Look, it's the issue of sexism within ironing. It all came up because I was talking to my lady, doesn't matter who she is, but Xavier, you know who you are. Anyway, I was suggesting that for the Llangollen run, what we ought to do is use a silk blouse for our ironing techniques as opposed to the normal linen. And she said, but you're a man, you know nothing about delicates. Llangollen to Welshpool, 4 days in a canoe with your ironing stuff, 6 stops, choice of fabrics, and points awarded not just for speed, which obviously is important, but for choice of fabric, ironing technique, and appropriate use of starch. Something that a lot of us tend to forget in our rush when we're under a waterfall. That is the highlight of my year when it comes to ironing, and it's been kind of corrupted by this idea that I'm not allowed to use silk. How can that be? What's that all about? Well, obviously I bridled at that. You would, wouldn't you? And I said to her, look, I just love the feel of good, cool silk against my skin, and that led to a whole new conversation that we don't really need to talk about right now. The thing was, this idea that certain people don't know about certain kinds of fabrics is just not acceptable in this day and age, is it? I mean, let's face it, we're all ironers, we're all people, it doesn't really matter. So, all of you, I'm appealing to the wider ironing community here. Don't let this stupid idea carry on. If you want to do nylon or silk or wool, you've got to be allowed to iron it yourself. That's the vital thing. There's no difference between us. Ah, that's better. I've got that off my chest. I feel a lot happier now. And so, just to wind up, I want to send a message to all of you from our true sponsor, the light within us all, that spark of universal love that we all house. April the 1st, All Fool's Day, there's going to be a march at Aldermaston, just to suggest that maybe spending billions of pounds on weapons to destroy lots and lots of people really isn't a very good way to behave. And perhaps we all ought to get around to being a little more respectful of each other, a little more listening to each other. So, I should be there for the first time ever. Screwed my courage to the sticking point, as they say. And if any of you other ironers or guitarists or whatever happen to be there, please come and say hello. It'll be a jolly time. And perhaps in some small way we'll just move the world forward. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, old Rabbit Russ out, and I'll talk to you another time about guitar techniques. Okay? Bye!